hoop was the hoop that you see at like the carnival, where it's like the size of the basketball just about, where the ball's got to be perfectly put in there. So all summer, I'm shooting on that going, man, I cannot shoot to save my life. Then I go to 7th grade tryouts and I look at the hoop. I'm like, that's the hoop? I thought it was like throwing it in Tippy Town Lake. Man, I couldn't wait to shoot the ball. I could not miss. It ended up helping me, throughout the summer shooting on such a small hoop like that. So basketball has always been my favorite sport to play.
But Rich, awesome. So bombs and birdies was never an option for you?
Yeah, no. When I grew up, we had body shops. I knew how to primer before I knew how to birdie. You know what I mean? So, yeah, that's a sport I wish I would have started playing earlier because, when you get older, I'm not going to be able to go shoot hoop. You know what I mean? I'll be able to go putt around, so I wish I would have started playing that sport earlier.
Bombs and Birdie plays on my show every day, right?
I love it, man. I love it.
you get no residuals, just so you know, all exactly. Audio belongs.
I don't want any, man. Just the fact that you're thinking about me is payment enough.
All audio belongs to the Sports Cave and the Cave Show. Absolutely. One said it belongs.
One of these days, Rovers are going to have to go out and play a round or so.
That'd be
somebody have to teach me because I have no idea how to play.
Someone keeps inviting Rich to hang out, but he works all the time as opposed to doing a live shot from, I don't know, here.
I know.
Yeah,
well, I'm working right now instead of having dinner. See, that's how much I love you guys and I love sports.
Aww. So let's go ahead and dive in a little bit more into the Super Bowl. So this was a little bit historic as well with the Super Bowl. We had the first female officiating a Super Bowl, which was phenomenal in itself, just major strides. But not only that, we also had the Tampa Bay coaching staff. We had our first 2 women coaches as well, which they now will be receiving rings for winning the Super Bowl and coming out champions. As well as that, it's a very diversified coaching staff with Todd Bowles, Harold Goodwin, just to name a couple. So
Byron Leftwich.
Yeah.
Yes. So we had just so many strides and so much history made in on Sunday's Super Bowl. So what is this? And I want to ask you, Rich, what does this mean now to not only in football, but in sports for diversity for women, and especially seeing a woman referee, which in my opinion, I think that it shouldn't have taken this long for this to happen. But we finally made it there. But I want to get your thoughts on this, Rich.
Yeah, better late than never, right? But yes, I agree with, the time had been coming. But I think what this shows to the entire world is just because someone doesn't look like you doesn't mean they can't do the job. That diversity works, that people of color can coach in the National Football League, that women can referee and coach in the National Football League, that women can be reporters, sports reporters, that if you are more diverse, you're actually better. It's not a bad thing. Look at the team with the most diverse coaching staff ended up winning handily. So I don't think, I think it's a great sign. It's a great sign that we're moving in the right direction, and not just from what the products on the field, but, even the halftime entertainment before the game. I just think it was a good day for the world and for America to show that diversity works and that it will work and it can work and it will continue to work. And I just think, once again, just because that person doesn't have the same background as you or look like you doesn't mean they can't do the same job as you. And that doesn't mean they can't do a good job. And sometimes the best person for the job should get the job regardless of where they're from or what they look like or what gender they are.
Yeah, Laura, I want to get your take on it too.
Well, it all makes sense to me now why Bieniemy and Leftwich and Bowles don't get a second bite of the apple. Because why would you hire them to be coaches, regardless of their color? Because they obviously can't do their job. I mean, they're not very good at it. I mean, when you can hire, why hire them when you can go and hire Dan Campbell, who will have you biting kneecaps and then biting other kneecaps and then biting more kneecaps. I mean, he obviously shows he's way more qualified because I saw him at the Super Bowl last night. And then the new coach for Philadelphia, I saw him at the Super Bowl last night coaching a winning team or coaching a team that won last year. So I don't see what the problem is with diversity because these coaches haven't proved anything.
That's sense of sarcasm there.
Yeah, complete sarcasm.
He just sounds so serious saying this.
It's irritating because when you look at the NFL right now, and I think what irritates me is you get Roger Goodell saying something, and let's just be honest, he's an employee of the owners. There's only so much power that he has. And the one thing that really pissed me off more than anything last night was there was a commercial. One of the commercials was the NFL is donating $250,000 or $2 million or something like that towards systemic racism. Well, did they donate it to themselves? Because they're the organization that don't hire minority head coaches often enough. So I think that's kind of funny in itself. So, yes, it was good to see black and brown coaches. It's good to see lady coaches. It's good to see lady referees because they're not playing. It's the knowledge of the game, and they all have a knowledge of the game. And you would think as an owner, that's what you would look for. I mean, let's be honest. Todd Bowles got fired for a guy that had the 25th, 27th, and 29th ranked offense in back-to-back years. He got fired for that guy who made the Jets worse than what they ever were. So there comes a point where it's no longer we're hiring the best candidate. It's what exactly are you doing? What are you afraid of? At this point, Joe, I don't think it has anything to do with racism. I think it has to do with people being comfortable. And you're more comfortable sometimes with someone that looks like you and talks like you. And so I think that's where the owners have an issue. They're not willing to be uncomfortable to make those moves, which will in turn make them successful. And I just think it's time. We see it's time, but no one can make them do it. So we'll keep having them donate to systemic racism and point out to them they can do something about it in the house to change it.
And I think that's one of the reasons why people love playing for and coaching with Bruce Arians, because he's always been a guy. He's the one that started it. He's always hired, coaches of color. He's the first one to hire the women coaches because he believes in whoever's the best for the job can do it. And he believes in giving people a chance. And I think the more we have coaches like him, the better it will be down the road. And I think that's why, like I said, so many people just love playing for that guy. And the more people we get like that in positions of influence and positions of power, the better it will be for everyone.
It really is great because now you see what the Washington football team's doing. They hired their black general manager. They've got a black team president. They're the first professional sports franchise to have a black team president and a black general manager. So you see things are progressing. And like Joe said, we had female coaches win the Super Bowl last night. We had a female referee last night. It's just great to see the steps and just progress. It may be baby steps, but we're moving towards something better and greater. And that's what we need to do as a people in a society. We need to continue to gravitate and just bring everybody together. And if you have skills, if you have a skill set that we can use in our particular company, it shouldn't matter what your color is or what your gender is. If you can make my company better, I'm going to hire you. I'm going to bring you in and I'm going to showcase you. Yeah. If you're black, if you're Latina, if you're a female, it doesn't matter what you are. But if you do happen to be a minority, that's a great thing. And that just shows all the young kids that may be looking up to any of us for that we can do this, that Richard Saenz can be a sports anchor, that PLR can have his own show, that Joanna can have her own show, and that we can all do this together. So anybody that looks like us, that are much younger than us, that are aspire to be where us four are, they can do that because they see that we are successful. Therefore, they can be successful.
Yeah, let's not just blame football for this. Baseball isn't exactly on point all the time either. And it has to do with, if we, and I'm going to stop after this because I know this isn't what you wanted, but if we really peel back the onion on this, football will change a lot when you have minority owners, and they're not letting minority owners in. And until they allow minority owners to come in, nothing really will change, because it's great that you have a president or a GM or a coach, but it's even better when you have an owner and someone making the real decisions. And this is coming from someone that worked corporate forever before I started doing sports. And I remember when we first at Chase and at Wells Fargo, when we started hiring and promoting Black people into management, I said, well, this is great. Now I can hire the grunt workers. When do I now get to hire the people in my position? And then when I move up, when do I then get to hire the people that hire the people? So until you get to the next level, it's good, but it's also still a little bit of treadmill running. Because remember, billionaires don't go broke. Millionaires do. Yeah.
And we all said it here, and it's when we all come together, whether that's in sports, whether that's in the league, whether that's as a media or just in any type of group in general, that's when we all win. And diversity is part of that, and inclusivity. So, NFL has made some strides, but not only the NFL, also MLB and NBA, WNBA, you just go ahead and add them in the mix, every single league. But there's so much more work that needs to be done. And you have to be, like PLR said, put yourself in a position to where you have to be uncomfortable first before you can get comfortable and be able to make those changes. So
Rich, let's buy a team. Rich, let's pull our money together and buy a team.
Yeah, exactly. I'll start a 5'8" and under league.
Paul, he doesn't need your money. He's got enough money. He can afford it.
Hey, well, I figured I could throw in like $1 or $2 and it'd be like 1%.
You're going to give $1? Oh, I'll do $1. I can do $1. Joanna, you can do $1, right? I'm only
rich in name, man, but I'll try to turn that $1 into 15 real quick.
But let's keep pushing forward and continue to make these strides. So
absolutely.
Okay. So let's go into a little bit of the awards and what we saw the night before the Super Bowl. We had some Hall of Fame inductees for the class of 2021, or the announcement for the inductees. I should clarify that. We have Peyton Manning. He made it in. Charles Woodson, Calvin Johnson, Drew Pearson, Alan Faneca, Bill Nunn, John Lynch, and Tom Flores are the inductees for the class of 2021. So, is there anyone in here, guys, that you would have wanted to see make it into the class of 2021, or is this what you pretty much perceived as what the turnout was going to be?
Drew Pearson.
Oh, wait, sorry, wrong before.
Drew Pearson and Tom Flores should have been in decades ago.
Oh, absolutely.
Drew Pearson was an all 1970 all decade team with America's team, with his numbers, similar to a lot of other guys that got in. He should have been in. And for Tom Flores to not be in the Hall of Fame until now is an outrage. You name any other 3-time Super Bowl winner, 2 as a coach, 1 as a player, that's sitting around wondering when they're going to get the call. That was a travesty.
Yeah, it took that long to get in. Such a point where
it was.
When I found out he wasn't, I'm like, really? He's not in? Like, I just assumed he was already in. So I totally agree with you on the Tom Flores thing. I agree on everything you said except for America's team. Where was I when they voted on that? Who do they think they are, the Dallas Cowboys, and say they're America's team? So I don't know about that. But yeah, Drew Pearson was also fantastic. And it was interesting that he was not getting in when you see guys that he was rivals with it right there with it already in the Hall of Fame, both John Stallworth and Lynn Swann. It was like Stallworth, Swann, Pearson. Those were like the top receivers of their time. Yes. And for those guys to get in and him to not get in, and he's a Super Bowl champion. He was a winner. He put up the numbers so that, sometimes I guess guys like that fall through the cracks, but I don't know what the reasoning for that is, but it's nice to see those guys get in for sure.
Fall through the crack. He fell through the Grand Canyon.
There's something.
Man, did he? There's so many other. There are so